Hi, everyone, and welcome to my mini wine series where elegance meets luxury in a glass. I'm Charlie E., owner of Luxury Events by Charlie E., and your personal wine guide with Traveling Vineyard. Today, we're going to jump right in and explore the four S's of wine tasting. The four S's consist of see, smell, swirl, and sip. And within those four steps, we'll also discover the body of a wine, texture, and complexity. So go ahead and grab your red bottle of wine and your red wine glass and let's start sipping. So the first thing that we see when we look at wine is the color. You'll either see a red, white, or rosé, depending on what type of wine you're drinking. You can tell a lot about the color or about wine by the color. You can tell the wine's age, the grape variety, as well as how it was made. If you have a piece of paper, you can a blank white sheet of paper, hold it up to against the glass, your wine glass, and you can actually see the different hues and different colors of your wine. Now, younger red wines start out as a crimson, brilliant, bright red color. As red wine ages, it turns into and it evolves into a darker brick brown color. Grape composition, aging techniques, and the extraction process during fermentation also influences the color of wine. So next, let's look at the body of the wine. Now, the body of a wine describes the weight or fullness of the wine. Two key factors determine the body. One is alcohol, and the other is extract. Extract is the solids in wine that such as the tannins, sugars, and acids. Alcohol is typically the primary determinant of the body of wine. So let's do a tilt test. Take your glass and tilt it to the side so the wine glides up the side of the glass. Then stand the glass back up and watch the wine fall back down into the bowl of the glass. Light-bodied wines will glide down very quickly, leaving almost no trace of even touching the side of the glass. And full-bodied wines will fall very slowly, leaving streaks on the glass, which are called the legs of the wine. Lighter-bodied wines contain less alcohol and sugar, while fuller-bodied wines contain higher alcohol and sugar contents. In general, red wine are more full-bodied, meaning they have more alcohol and more sugar. However, if a white wine is ever fermented in a mature oak or barrel, then that adds further weight and body to the wine. Next is the smell. Now, aromas are a very important component to tasting and enjoying wine. The aroma factors include where the grapes were grown and the climate in which they were grown in, the winemaking process, and the maturity or age of the wine. To properly smell a wine, you'll do it in two steps. So the first step is to sniff the wine as is. Depending on which wine you're drinking, you may detect subtle notes of floral, fruit, and even oak. The second step involves the swirl process. Now, swirling your wine gives you a better time to observe the wine's appearance, color, and clarity. It also aerates the wine, allowing oxygen to flow through the wine, ultimately revealing the wine's true deep aromas and improving the taste. So there's no right or wrong way to swirl wine, but I'm going to show you a basic swirl technique today. So if you'll take your wine glass, just leave it on the table, put the stem between your index finger and middle finger, and support the foot of the glass with your other fingers, and just gently go in a small circular motion. And you'll see that you've got a swirling effect. So after you've swirled your wine, go ahead and take another sniff of the wine. You'll notice that the notes of the wine are extremely pronounced. They're very potent, and you're smelling strong, fruity, floral, mineral, herb, and oak in the wine. Now, the next step, which is my favorite and probably everyone's favorite, it is the sip. You deserve it. Go ahead and have a big sip of your wine. Mmm. Notice the different flavors of the wine and the aromas of the wine that you taste. Now we're going to take another sip, but we're going to do a little demonstration. So in this sip of the wine, I want you to hold the wine in your mouth, and you can even switch it around a little bit, which will actually bring out more pronounced flavors. Then you'll swallow the wine and notice the sensation of the alcohol as it hits the back of your throat. Wow, what a powerful punch. Notice how long the flavors last in your mouth and tingle on your tongue. This describes the finish of the wine. Now, the longer the finish of a wine, the higher the quality of wine it is. So go ahead and fill up the rest of your glass with your wine, and I'm going to talk just a little bit about texture and complexity of the wine. Now, texture, we're actually describing the mouthfeel or tactile sensations on the palate. Contributors to texture are alcohol, sugar, and tannins. What are tannins? Well, tannins are naturally occurring compounds that exist in the grape skins, seeds, and stems. It gives the wine a textural sensation, something that we feel rather than taste. Sugar, well, let's face it, without sugar, there is no wine. Ripe grapes naturally contain sugar. Most sugar is converted into alcohol during the fermentation process, and any sugar that remains after the fermentation process is called residual sugar. The residual sugar is the primary source of a wine's sugar content. The good news about this is that wine is a product of fruit, and it almost always contains only natural sugars. Now, that doesn't mean you can go crazy on wine, but it does mean that a couple of glasses of red wine or any wine is probably better than Dunkin' Donuts. The third component in the texture is the alcohol. Alcohol is created through a process called fermentation, where yeast convert the sugars in the grape juice and into alcohol. So a well-balanced wine with all the components, the alcohol gives the wine a sense of generosity and warmth. So let's talk a little bit about the complexity of wine. Now, a complex wine has more than one dimension. It's not just fruity or floral, but it has savory, earthy, and mineral spicy layers to it. Complexity of wine comes from a couple of different things. One, it comes from the vineyard and the territory in which the grapes were grown. Also, the second thing is the winemaking technique. That makes a huge difference. Barrel fermentation and blending of different grapes adds significant complexity to the wine. And finally, the maturity of the wine. As a wine matures, compounds break down and new compounds are formed, changing and adding to the way the wine tastes, therefore adding complexity. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this little mini series on the 4 steps in tasting wine. Please click like and share, and feel free to invite others to our wine group. And I look forward to seeing you soon. But wait, please do not throw away your empty wine bottle. Yes, I know that your wine bottle is going to be empty very soon. However, don't throw it away. In a couple of days, I'm going to show you how to repurpose your wine bottle for summer. Until then, stay safe and happy sipping. Cheers.